my name is Christina Peace. I'm going to share with you some of what I learned from General Humanities 2 this semester. First off, although I made good grades in school, I didn't necessarily pay attention to what I should have in regards to history, with the important events and inventions. I actually learned a lot in this class. Some of the things I learned was about the Stonehenge. It was really amazing that some of the stones weighed 25 tons, that the Stonehenge came about in the prehistoric era, and that the Stonehenge was shaped without metal tools, and that they came from a quarry some 20 miles away from where the actual Stonehenge was built. I actually do question how we had the equipment and manpower to build this landmark so long ago. Something else that I learned that was interesting was the Egyptian customs, that the land actually passed through the females and not the males, and if a son of an important person of the Egyptian customs was wanting the power, that the son would have to either marry his half-sister or his actual blood sister, which was actually strange, but apparently during the Egyptian time, the brother-sister marriages were very common. Something else that I found very fascinating was that the novel originated in Japan. I'm a person that actually likes to read, and knowing that it actually happened in Japan and not the United States was something that was interesting to learn about. In the Christianity chapter, I learned that almost every number and combination of letters, combination of numbers meant something. For example, the number 5 symbolized the wounds of Jesus, and the number 3 signified the Trinity. I thought that was really interesting. The bubonic plague was transferred from black rats that were infested with fleas. The plague was the worst catastrophe of the 14th century. That was something that was very devastating, and I'm glad that we haven't had to worry about that since then. Something else in regards to novels, I learned that Frankenstein started as a novel by Mary Shelley when she was only 18 years old, not even actually an adult at 21. And something else that I didn't know, that Frankenstein was not actually the monster, but he was actually the Victor Frankenstein, who was a scientist and creator of the figure that later became known as the evil hero Frankenstein, and a movie was made for it. The 19th century seemed to be most interesting to me for several reasons. One of being the inventions that came about in the 19th century, the telephone, the telegraph, the camera, and then most important, electricity. Without electricity, we wouldn't even be able to see anything. We would just have to do like they did in the old days and go to bed whenever it was dark and then wake up when it was light. Thomas Edison invented the light bulb during this century as well. Technological advancement during this century was the railroad, and that seems to be very important during this century. The steamway locomotive was also invented by the British during the 19th century. The fully automatic machine gun came about during the 19th century. And then, again to the novels, Charles Dickens and Mark Twain were very famous authors during this century. One of the stories that I remember from reading in school was The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, which was popular when I was in school, which was 20 years ago, and is still popular today, according to the textbook. The Eiffel Tower in Paris, France, that's my most interesting landmark because I've always wanted to actually go there, and I do hope to one day visit it in person. I liked how the chapter 13 in the textbook discussed the structure of the tower in great detail, and like I said, I would like to visit it in person someday to look at the structure and and all the elevators and things that the textbook talks about. Well, I do believe that what people say, history repeats itself. We would not be as advanced as we are if many of the events in history hadn't occurred and the inventions to allow us to actually advance to where we are. To conclude, I am really glad I was able to take this class. I definitely see and understand how the inventions and events shape our world today. I actually enjoyed paying attention and learning about different inventions and events of the history of the textbook for this class. And I strongly do believe that without these events and inventions in history, I feel we would not be as advanced or have the understanding of how religion, literature, music, and arts actually ties into history. Thank you for allowing me to take this class.